Are you ready to make 2024 the best year of your life? It's amazing that people don't even realize that you were created for success, and human beings are the only thing that God created to be progressively productive, which means today should be better than yesterday, this week should be better than last week, this month should be better than last month, this year should be better than last year, this decade should be better than last decade, and if your life isn't showing up like that, maybe there's something you're missing. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to build $1 million brand in 2024. How to build a big, powerful, successful, profitable brand. And yes, you can do that too. So if you're ready, grab your pen and paper because we're about to take some serious insights into account. Here we go. How do you build a $1 million brand? So the first thing we have to do is we have to establish what is a brand. And I'll be honest with you, because I saw so many big businesses flushing money down the toilet on advertising for a name recognition or getting my name out there, and then I saw a lot of small entrepreneurs doing the same thing, I used to think branding was a stupid waste of time. But I thought branding was a stupid waste of time because the way most companies do branding is a stupid waste of time. But branding itself is not a stupid waste of time. I used to believe that people would talk about branding because they didn't know how to sell and they didn't know how to do marketing. Now I realize people who only emphasize sales and marketing, they don't understand how to build a brand. And so I'm gonna give you the Myron Golden definition of a brand. You're not gonna find this definition in a dictionary anywhere unless it's the Myron Golden Dictionary, which I've not published yet, so you're not likely to find it. And that definition of a brand is this: a brand is a name that reminds you of a story that you'd like to see yourself in. Like a good brand. A bad brand is a name that reminds you of a story that you'd like not to see yourself in, right? So everybody has a brand, but when I'm talking about a brand, I'm talking about a positive brand in the positive aspect of the word. How do I build a brand that's worth something? Well, you have to develop a name that reminds people of a story that they'd like to see themselves in. If you want to build a premium brand, if that's your desire, if your desired outcome is to build a premium brand, then you have to develop a name that reminds people of a story that they'd be willing to pay a lot of money to see themselves in. That's what a brand is. Now, a brand gives you influence that money cannot buy. What does that mean? I used to do network marketing, and I would train people in network marketing, and the number one key component of being successful in network marketing, and I've got a superstar network marketing, like consummate professional among us, so he'll know whether I'm telling the truth or not. You can call me out too, Bugs, I'm good. You can call me out, okay? The number one critical component of building a successful network marketing organization is becoming a person that people say yes to regardless of the opportunity. That's it. That's it. I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. Like, people think that people say yes because of the product. They think they say yes because of the opportunity. They think they say yes because of the compensation plan. Or like restaurants think people are gonna say yes because of their sign or their logo. No. People say yes because you are the person people say yes to before they know what the opportunity is. What does that mean? It means if you got a call from Damon John's office and he said, Mr. John is looking for some people he can mentor to become the next millionaire, decamillionaire, hectamillionaire, billionaire, and he's considering you, would you like to have an interview with Damon John? Or would you like to have one of those, he's only mentoring 12 people, would you like to be one of those 12 people? What would you say? Yes. Most people would say yes. Why? Because he has developed a name, Damon John. What's his brand? The People's Shark, right? He's developed a name that reminds you of a story. What's the story? The story's FUBU, right? For Us, By Us, built like $1 billion brand out of his mother's basement or whatever, like out of his mom's house or whatever. And so you're like, if he could do that, he can help me. So how do I become a person that people say yes to before they know what the offer is? That's the real secret. Like, if you want to be a best-selling author, you have to develop a name that people want to read about. Like, People go see Denzel movies because Denzel's in it. People go to Beyonce concerts because Beyonce's in it. People listen to Taylor Swift because she's Taylor Swift. If she writes a song, it's going to be good because she wrote it. In fact, if she wrote a song and somebody who nobody ever heard of wrote the same song, people would love her song because she wrote it, even if they didn't love it when the other person wrote it. Why? Because people have affinity to people. And your name means something. The problem is, most people's names mean something they'd rather it not mean. Why? Well, because if you're going to build a brand, $1 million brand, you have to build a name that has integrity. What's integrity mean? Integrity means when something comes out of your mouth, your actions do follow. When you tell somebody you're going to do something, you don't give them an excuse why you didn't do it, you just do it. And you do it if it inconveniences you, and you do it if it costs you time, and you do it if it costs you money. You become a person of your word. Greatest brand of all times, Jesus. How did he do it? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the same was in the beginning with God, and all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. What does it tell us in verse 14? And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory as the glory of the only begotten of the Father. Well, what can we learn from that? Well, when your Word becomes your flesh, you can dwell among the people you gave it to. When your word doesn't become your flesh, you have to hide from those same people. And what happens when you give somebody your word and it comes time for you to deliver on your word, you hide from them and they can't find you. Now, when all of a sudden, when you got something of value and you go to find them, you can't find them. Why? Because you hid from your responsibility that you created for yourself. A guy I did some business with recently. I'm not going to mention his name because that's not relevant. And I did some business with him. And he volunteered some information to me on multiple occasions and did not follow through. So we had a call. And he's like, well, I think you should do this, 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 and this. I said, here's the problem. I'm not sure I want to keep doing business with you. I said, you volunteered information to me on multiple occasions, did not do what you said. And I didn't ask you to volunteer that information. But you didn't follow through. And I have a question for you. If your word doesn't mean anything to you, how could you expect it to mean something to me? Now you say, Myron, you said, well, I don't know anything else to say. I've already paid this person. Right? But I'm not going to go, I'd rather throw good money after bad than good experience after bad and waste my time. Are y'all tracking? Like when you tell somebody you're going to do something, just do it. And if it has to change, go to them like a man, like a woman, and tell them, I have to change what I said. This is why I have to change. If you'd like a refund, or if you'd like your money back, or if you don't want to do business with me because that I get it, but I have to come to you and let you know. Be a straightforward person, because people, even if people don't like you when you're straightforward, they can't help but respect you. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us. And what does it say after that? And we beheld his glory as the glory of the only begotten of the Father. See, when your word becomes your flesh, then and only then can people believe your story. And when people believe your story, then and only then can people behold your glory. But see, here's the problem. Your words and your works don't match. What you say and what they see don't match. And so when you show up and you're talking and you're presenting something to people and they know you as a person who likes to talk but doesn't like to walk, what happens is they don't want to do business with you, because when it's essential, here's what the scripture says about it. It says, confidence in an unfaithful man is like a broken foot and a tooth out of joint. No, a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. I got them backwards. But I guess you could have a broken foot and a tooth out of joint. A broken tooth and a foot out of joint. What does that mean? You cannot eat with a broken tooth and you cannot walk with a foot out of joint. It's still a foot. You just can't do anything with it. And so don't put confidence in people who are unfaithful. What does unfaithful mean? They don't instill faith in you because they've already demonstrated they are not a person of their word. If you're going to become a person who people say yes to before they know what the offer is, you have to become a person who does what you say. How many of y'all tracking? Wave at me. Okay, you have to be a person of integrity. When you become a person of integrity, that gives you the ability to become a person of influence. And now you open your mouth and you say, I'm going here. Who'd like to go with me? And everybody says, well, I want to go, right? This room is not publicized. We don't publish this. Like people have to request. Like how many of y'all found out how hard it was to figure out where we were, right? Right? Yeah, this ain't that. Right? I'm not trying to grow a studio, right? Right? And so, but people find out, like when you do what you say you're going to do, and you just show up year after year, like reputations are hard to build and extremely easy to destroy. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. That's the brand. Like, what's your brand? What are you known for? Are you known for the person who causes drama? Is that your brand? Drama king, drama queen? Are you known as the person who's contentious? Is that your brand? Are you known as the person who like always ignores the promises you made and acts as if other people should ignore the fact that you made them as well? Like what is your brand? Okay, so if you're gonna build a brand, you have to become a person of integrity so that you can become a person of influence. Then you must become a person of impact. What does that even mean? How do I become a person of impact? I have to actually show up in the marketplace for the people who are there, not show up in the marketplace for me. I like what Daniel Priestley said in an interview I saw recently. He said, the interesting thing about key persons of influence, that's what he calls a person people say yes to, is the fact that they don't shine the spotlight on themselves. They shine the spotlight on other people. See, it's not about how good you feel because people give you accolades. It's about how good you can make them feel. It's not about how much better the people around. Okay, how can this person, okay, Francesco, he can make my life better if I do this, and then Hiram can make my life better if I do this, and then Max, oh yeah, and Ed, if I could just get closer to Edward, then my life can elevate. Well, that does happen, like when you get around people who have influence, and you begin to be associated with them, some of their influence rubs off on you, but that should not be the objective. If that's your objective, people can smell it. And it stinks. Nobody wants to be around that. Like, people want to know that you're there for them. Good people I'm talking about. They want to know that you're there for them so they can be there for you. And they want to be there for you even if you don't want to be there for them. Good people. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? And so what you've got to do is you've got to show up in the marketplace looking to serve, not looking to be served. Like, how can I make this person who I'm having a conversation with, who I'll never meet again, how can I make their life a little bit better because they interacted with me today? People say, Myron, what's your elevator pitch? Here's my elevator pitch. Y'all ready? Hi, how are you today? Have a great day. Where are you from? Right? I'm not an elevator pitch, to try to sell somebody something on an elevator. Why would I do that? In fact, can I let y'all in on a little secret? I don't ever try to sell anybody anything. I just show up and serve. People want to buy stuff from me. Now, that seems like an oversimplification. But when I say I don't ever try to sell anything to anybody, I am the lowest pressure salesperson you will ever meet in your life. But somehow or another, that low pressure sales process that I use builds up a lot of internal pressure for people to buy. Are y'all tracking? I'm not putting any sales pressure on people, but because I'm a person of my word, and people can tell that I really care about them, and that I'm there to serve them, and not using them to serve myself. They want to be around me. And if I write a book, they want to buy it. If I have a coaching program, they want to buy it. If I'm teaching a lesson, people want to show up for it. Why? Because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because we were all created in the image of God, which means he created us for creation. You were made to make stuff. You were created to create stuff. We were created for connection. People like being connected with people. People who have bigger networks live longer than people who have small, like little teeny tiny networks. Because people were made to be connected with other people. God made everything, and then he said, the only thing that's not good is for this man to be by himself. Wow. Isn't that amazing? So you have an internal, even if you're an introvert, even if the experiences of your past have caused you not to trust people, and really what's happened is the experiences of your past may have caused you not to trust some people, and then what you've done is you've painted everybody with those lack of trust colors, right? Because it's not people, like, I don't trust people because people showed me they're not trustworthy. Well, no, some people showed they're not trustworthy, and you've applied their lack of trustworthiness to everybody else. I don't like people because people have demonstrated that they're mean. No, there are people who've demonstrated that they're mean, right? But there are good, honest, honorable, decent human beings who just like to be with people so they can make their lives better. By the way, that's the only way you can make your life better is by seeking to make other people's lives better. You can't make your life better by seeking to make your own life better. It just doesn't work that way. That kind of success is evasive. And in fact, it's so evasive, it's like trying to catch like lightning in a bottle. It just won't stay there. And so show up to serve. And if you'll do that, if your intensity will be like, I'm going to show up to serve people, and I'm going to be a person of integrity, and I'm going to have impact, what happens now is you can start to generate income. Because you can create and produce things for those people that you're seeking to serve, and those people will pay you for it. Now, how many of you would like me to tell you where your millions are in 2024? Who wants me to share it with you? Okay. All of the millions that you desire to have that you don't have right now, they are in somebody else's pocket, somebody else's checkbook, somebody else's checking account, somebody else's wallet. If you will give them something they desire more than the money, if you'll create something for them that they desire more than they desire the money, they will happily hand it over. Does this make any sense? Like, just go obsess over other people's problems. They will pay you, and then you can pay somebody to obsess over your problems. I have a swimming pool. I've never cleaned it. Why? I pay somebody to obsess over my swimming pool. I don't have to obsess over it. I pay somebody to clean my house. I don't have to obsess over it. Are y'all tracking? I pay somebody to cut the grass. I don't have to obsess over it. I pay people to wash the car. I don't have to obsess over that. Why? Because I obsess over the problem. I obsess over problems of large groups of people with a little bit of money. And I obsess over small groups of people with a lot of money, obsess over solving their problems. And what happens is they pay me. Why? Because I fixed their problem, and the problem was costing them more than they paid me. It's so simple. It's so simple. I have in my office a series of books by a guy named George Sabiris. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of George Sabiris. Anybody ever heard of George Sabiris? George Sabiris wrote a book back in the 70s called Getting Black Folks to Sell. That was the name of the book. It's out of print. I've reached out and tried to find him multiple times so that I could buy the rights of that book from him. And then he wrote one called Black Folks Guide to Success in Business, and another one as well, but I don't remember the name of the other one. Anyway, in his book, he's just talking about the fact that a lot of times when we think about starting businesses, we think about starting service-based businesses. But if we focus on selling a product instead of selling a service, we can multiply our revenue generation. Now, if you're gonna sell a product, if you're gonna sell a service that is productized. In other words, it's a service that you don't fulfill. What does that mean?
I'd like to take time to invite you to one of the most life-changing experiences you can ever have in your life. If you are an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what business you're in, what you sell. You want to take your business to the next level, you deserve to enroll in the Make More Offers Challenge. It will change your life in more ways than we have time. To join the Make More Offers Challenge as a VIP, there are 3 levels that you can join on. The general admission, it's $97. The VIP experience, and then there's Platinums. Platinums are VIPs who've upgraded and they've actually paid an additional $500 to ask a question. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next Make More Offers Challenge.
Like, for instance, insurance is a service, but it's a service you don't fulfill. Or if you're gonna sell a service, sell a service that you can fulfill in bulk, right? So it doesn't take more time to provide the service to more people. Okay, so you have to build a name. Now, if you're gonna build a name, here's what you gotta do. You're going to have to produce some stuff. You're gonna have to put it out there. On Front Street. And people are gonna know it's you. And you may not like how you look, but you need to put how you look out there. Because people need to be able to recognize you. Because personal brands succeed bigger than business brands. In fact, one of the biggest brands, maybe the biggest brand in the world, is Apple, right? The biggest corporate brand in the world is Apple. But it wasn't built on Apple, it was built on Steve Jobs. In fact, when you say Apple Corporation today, the first person people think about is Steve Jobs, and he died in 2011. And this is 2023. Personal brands. Richard Branson built a personal brand that built Virgin. Elon Musk built a personal brand that built Tesla and PayPal and all these other brands that he's built, SpaceX. And see, we want to hide in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark and don't want anybody to see who we are because we don't like how we look. I'm too heavy, I'm too thin, I'm too this, I'm too dark, I'm too light. I'm a woman in a man's world, I'm a man in a woman's world, I'm whatever. And we have all these reasons why we want to hide. But the hiding doesn't serve the people that you came to serve, and it doesn't serve you. It's a waste of time. I could come up with some reasons why I should hide. I'm too old, man, to be on YouTube. I'm almost 62 and stuff. Right? What if I said that, though? What if I said, I'm too old? When I discovered, YouTube's a thing they'll pay you for. Now, talk about not being the sharpest knife in the drawer. I was on YouTube. I opened my YouTube channel. I created my YouTube channel March 15th, 2007. Yeah, I was early adopter. I didn't find out YouTube had this thing called YouTube monetization, I think is what YouTube partner plan or whatever it's called, where YouTube pays you for putting out videos. I did not even know that until 2021. I'm a businessman. I did not know that YouTube, this platform, paid people for putting out content. Do you know how much content I created from 2007 to 2021 for 14 years? I created hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. Just didn't put them on YouTube. I was doing it in a Facebook group, in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark. Because they didn't know. Are y'all tracking? And see, what you have to do, you don't have to do this, but what I would recommend that you do is figure out, like, what am I gonna publish? What am I gonna produce? I gotta produce some content. And the content that I produce needs to be prolific, it needs to be profound. Prolific means it needs to be out there all the time, everywhere. That's why we post a video every day. I didn't start out every day. I started out once a week. April 1st last year, I had 10,000, how many did I have? 10,500 subscribers. How many I got now? 400 and something thousand? 500 and something thousand. I knew it was something in the hundreds of thousands. 547. Thank you. 547,000. You know what that means? You know what that means, right? That means since February of 2022, this is December of 2023, since February of 2022, My YouTube subscriber count has grown by 537,000 people in less than 2 years. And I'm 62. You're not supposed to be able to do that at 62. YouTube's a young people's platform. All right, if that's what you want to tell yourself. In that same time period, YouTube has paid me over $500,000. Now, $500,000 ain't it ain't rich, but it ain't gonna hurt your feelings none. Every extra $500,000 helps, right? Every extra $500,000 now, it helps with something, right? And they sent me clients. I want you to wrap your mind around what I'm about to say. YouTube has sent me clients that have bought over $30 million worth of stuff in the last 2 years, not including the money YouTube's paid me. I'm not singing and dancing in front of you. I'm telling you a real story that really happens in my life. Just a regular old dude from Tampa, Florida. The difference between me and you is I ain't hiding. I'm not undervaluing my gift, and I'm not hiding it in the booth in the back in the corner in the dark. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing the thing. Just do the thing. Okay. People say, it's so amazing to me. So it's so amazing to me that people say, but I don't have anybody, I don't have a list. I don't have anybody to sell my stuff to. What does that have to do with anything? Do you realize, we talked about network marketing earlier. No network marketing company that has ever started had people to sell stuff to. You know what they did? They partnered with people who had people to sell stuff to. You could partner with people who have people to sell stuff to. Oprah Winfrey did not have an audience until she interviewed people with audiences in front of their audience, and then their audience became her audience. And now she's a billionaire with a B. And so you think you have an excuse. Here's who could interview people. Anybody. Anybody can interview people. All you have to do is find a bunch of people who are interesting on one given area of expertise, interview a bunch of people. You will have a following of some sort. Eventually, they'll start following you. Because we just naturally associate. Oh, I remember you were with so-and-so. Are y'all tracking? Okay. So then, after you build, like you produce this content, and then you publish it, you post it, then you want to have some kind of product suite, some kind of, if you want to read a great book on what I'm talking about, go read Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. It'll change your life. Seriously, it'll change your life. Key person of influence. And you want to become a key person of influence, the person people say yes to before they know what the offer is. So 90% of my energy in business is spent being the person people say yes to before they know what the offer is. Everything else is easy after that. All I have to do is say, hey, I have this hat. Oh, can I get a hat like that? Oh, I have this shirt. Oh, can I get a shirt like that? Oh, I'm having an event. Oh, can I come to the event? It doesn't matter. Become the person people say yes to by being a person of integrity and impact. Be a person who keeps your word, show up for the people. You'll have influence. Put out stuff that serves people. Here's what's really cool. You know what's really cool? When you're producing stuff for people, you have to produce some free stuff. This is free. I could charge people to come here. I could charge people to come here. Let's have a conversation about that later. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, what am I doing? No, I can charge people to come here. I refuse. I want you to wrap your mind around what I'm about to say. I refuse to put content on YouTube that I could not have packaged and sold. Did you hear what I just said? I refuse to put content out there in the marketplace that I could not have packaged and sold, but I put it out for free. Why? So that people can know that I can help them, because I've already helped them before they paid me. There's this guy named Robin Dunbar who came up with this concept called Dunbar's numbers. And he said, Dunbar did a study. He said, people need to spend 7 hours with you before they feel like they know you and like you and trust you. Do you know how hard it would be to spend 7 hours with just the people, for each one of us to spend 7 hours with each one of us one-on-one? Do you know how hard that would be? and how long it would take forever, right? Because there's only 24 hours in a day. Everybody say unless. Unless you publish content. Because then the hours in your day get multiplied. What does that mean? I'll show you. Let me show you what I mean. So yesterday, my day, I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things to do. Because it woke me up. And so hopefully it'll wake you up as well. Okay, so there are 720 hours in a month, right? So if you're just gonna stay awake and spend 7 hours, somebody divide 720 by 7. So if you just took every waking hour, and you spent 7 hours with a different person every waking hour for a whole month, you would be able to spend 7 hours with 102 people. And you're maxed out. Okay, now, watch this. Yesterday, even though I didn't do this, I didn't spend this much time with people. People spent yesterday 10,501 hours with me. Yesterday! Now, the day before that wasn't that good. It was only 7,209 hours. So I was only able to spend 7 hours with 1,000 people yesterday. And then, how many hours in a month? 720? In the last 28 days, people have spent 338,500 hours with me. Do you think they trust me? Some of them do. How many? A lot. Why? Because I show up for them, not for me. Are y'all tracking? Yes. And see, here's what you want to do. You want to wait until you're good to start showing up for people. But the only way to get good is to start showing up for people before you're good. It's kind of like paradoxical. It's oxymoronic. It's like when I get good, I'm going to write that book. When I get good, I'm going to start putting out YouTube videos. Start putting out YouTube videos while you're bad, so that when nobody's watching you, you're bad, and then by the time you get good, then you'll have an audience. So you don't have free stuff that you just give away. Like, we just put out a YouTube video every day. We do 2 long-form videos a week and 5 short-form videos a week. Every day, every week, every day, video comes out. 10 a.m. every day. Why? Because I'm going to be consistent. Why? Because I want to be easier to be found. I want to be easier to find. Okay. Then you need some products that generate prospects. That's your free stuff that you give away in exchange for people's information. Marketing is not giving out information. Marketing is gathering information. And so what you do is you give information in exchange to gather their name, their email address, and their phone number. We have an email list of about 60,000, 70,000 people, somewhere in there. So if I'm getting ready to do something, I can send an email to 60, 70,000 people. We probably have 20,000 phone numbers that we can send text messages to. Because we started generating emails before we started generating phone numbers. But still. And then put it on YouTube, and then people spend I forgot to tell you. I forgot one of the most important days of the last 30 days. The day in the last 30 days that the people spent the most time with us was on December 1st. In the last 28 days. December 1st, people spent 17,906 hours with me that day. So, people have to spend 7 hours with you, and they have to have 11 points of contact before they feel like they can trust you to do business with you. So you have to have resources. You have to have the ability for people to deep dive on your philosophies, your beliefs, your character, your knowledge base without you having to be there. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. All right. So then I'm going to give you these last couple of them. You want a core product. What's a core product? A core product is something inexpensive that you sell to a very broad market. But it has to be good. Myron, you said do it even if you're not good. That's right, do it if you're not good. But you're not gonna get good until you start doing it. So make it as good as you possibly can. So this book right here, I wrote this book in 2006. It sells for $20. It's a paperback book, sells for $20. This book generates $7,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue. But it brings in something way more than the money. I'm going to tell you what that is in a minute. This book right here, I wrote this in 2021. This book brings in about $60,000 a month. $60,000 a month. Before I get out of bed, it's going to come in from this book. Okay, now, guess what those two core products generate for me that are more valuable than the money? A client, a customer. Amateurs sell to make money, to generate money. Professionals sell to generate clients. I only sell to generate clients. Why? Because it's less expensive, more efficient, and more effective to sell to a client than it is to sell to a prospect. So I want to get that person to convert from a prospect to a customer, so every other conversion from that point on is virtually effortless. That's going to be the case primarily because I delivered on the promises when they bought the first thing. But then after that, there's this thing called, so there's my consistency, right? There's my consistency that contributes to them buying more, but there's also their cognitive bias. What's cognitive bias? When people buy something from you and it works, they will buy another thing from you to prove to themselves and others they didn't make a mistake buying the first thing from you. That's why people stick with a brand of car. That's why they stick with a brand of shoes or a brand of clothing. This is my favorite brand. Why? Because they want to prove to themselves and others that the first time they bought that thing, it was a good decision. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you want to have a premium value offer. This is the game changer. This is where all the profits are made, or most of the profits. And a premium value offer is something that costs way more but gets a way bigger result in a much shorter time period. And you want to have a premium value offer. What's a premium value offer? I don't know. For you, it might be $2,000. For somebody else, it might be $20,000. For somebody else, it might be $200,000. For somebody else, it might be $2 million. It just depends on who you are. But you got to start somewhere, right? I remember when I used to sell financial services. If I were to sell financial services again, the first thing I would do, if I sold financial services today, the first thing I would do is I'd write a book on the payoff of having financial services. That's the first thing I would do. If I did network marketing again, the first thing I would do is I'd write a book on the payoff of whatever products they are that I sell, and a payoff of having a home-based business. I'd write a book about that, and I'd sell it to as many people as possible. Why? Because I'd use that to get a customer, and I'd let that sell the customers on the stuff that my vendor, my insurance company, or my network marketing company provided. It'll change the game for you when you understand the game you're in. Because if you don't understand how to play the game, you also don't understand you're being played by the game. The last thing I'm going to say, once you have your product suite in place, if you don't have an audience, just go partner with somebody who has an audience and give them half the money. We pay out right now $20,000 to $30,000 a month in affiliate commissions. Guess what that means? Those affiliates made us $20,000 to $30,000 a month because we give them half and we keep half. Wow. What a novel concept. So my recommendation to you is in 2024, don't sleep on building your brand. Get a couple of books. Get this book, Boss Moves. You can get it at bossmovesbook.com. Get Daniel Priestley's book, Key Person of Influence. Also get Daniel Priestley's book, Oversubscribed. Those 3 books, read them in January 2024. I challenge you. Read them in January 2024. Do what they say. Come back and tell me you're not better off financially. December 2024. I challenge you. And that's how you build $1 million brand in 2024. Thank you.